just, I mean, God, I put him in rehab so many times, and every time he'd be doing great, and then it would just fall back. I mean, have you heard the same story from a million people?
In 2025, Rick Harrison's life took an unimaginable turn as news broke about his emotional reaction to a life sentence that left fans in shock. From fame to heartbreak and legal battles, Rick's journey took a devastating turn. But nothing could have prepared him for the nightmare that would unfold. How did Rick, the man we thought we knew, react to this crushing twist of fate? Let's find out. The difficult childhood of Rick Harrison. Before Rick Harrison became the famous face of Pawn Stars, his life was shaped by pain, hardship, and heartbreak. Many people see the tough, no-nonsense businessman on TV, but behind that sharp mind is a man who had to grow up fast. His childhood wasn't filled with joy and toys. It was filled with hospital visits, tragic losses, and a deep hunger to escape through books and knowledge. Rick was born in 1965 in Lexington, North Carolina. He was the second child of Richard, the Old Man Harrison, and Joanne Harrison. But long before Rick's name was known across the country, his family went through a loss that left a lasting scar. His older sister, Sherry Harrison, was born with Down syndrome. She required constant care and medical treatment. To pay for her bills, Rick's father stayed in the U.S. Navy, even when he wanted to be home with his family. Rick's mother and siblings had to learn to live without their father around much, something that made life harder for everyone, especially little Rick. The hardest blow came when Sherry died at the age of just 6. Rick was a toddler at the time and didn't get the chance to truly know her. But the loss hung over the family like a dark cloud. His father, in a rare emotional moment, later said, "Sherry was the light of my life for the short time we had her." Rick carried that pain with him quietly, knowing that a piece of their family was gone forever. Not long after, Rick faced another battle, this time with his own body. He was diagnosed with epilepsy, a condition that caused frequent seizures. These seizures weren't just scary, they were life-altering. Rick spent a lot of his childhood in bed, recovering from the damage the seizures caused. He missed school often, which made him feel isolated. But during those lonely days, something unexpected happened. He picked up books, lots of them, especially history books. Reading became his escape. While other kids played outside, Rick traveled through time in his mind, learning about ancient civilizations, famous wars, and forgotten artifacts. It wasn't just a hobby. It became the foundation for his future. Without those quiet moments, trapped in his room with nothing but books, Rick might never have developed the sharp eye and deep knowledge that would later make Pawn Stars such a hit. But Rick's childhood wasn't only shaped by illness and loss. It was also marked by a complicated relationship with his father. On the show, the old man was known for his grumpy charm and tough love. But behind the scenes, he could be even tougher. Rick once shared a story from when he was 16. Trying to act tough, he cursed at his father. Richard didn't respond with words. He punched him. Rick said he hit the floor, stunned. Then his dad looked down at him and said, "Old enough to talk to me like a man, old enough to get your ass beat like one." It was a harsh moment, but Rick didn't hold a grudge. In fact, he called it one of the greatest life lessons he ever received. It taught him about respect, strength, and the hard rules his father lived by. Richard Harrison was a strict old-school man who believed in discipline, not softness. And while that made growing up with him tough, Rick credits him with shaping his work ethic and resilience. Despite the emotional roller coaster of his early life, Rick kept pushing forward. He didn't let his illness define him. He didn't let grief break him. Instead, he used his pain as fuel. Years later, when he had the chance to give back, He joined hands with the Epilepsy Foundation to raise awareness. Even though his seizures had stopped, he never forgot what it was like to live in fear of the next one. He told them, "Having seizures as a kid was scary. I understand what it's like for people who still live with seizures every day." And yet, life wasn't done testing him. In January 2024, Rick suffered one of the most crushing losses a parent can experience. His son, Adam Harrison, died from a fentanyl overdose at just 39 years old. Rick, who had already known the pain of losing a sibling, now had to carry the unbearable weight of losing a child. He opened up about it in interviews, his voice heavy with grief, saying simply, "I think about him every day." Rick Harrison's life has been filled with dramatic turns, some public, others deeply personal. His journey from a sick, grieving child to a successful businessman is nothing short of incredible. Behind every sarcastic comment and negotiation on Pawn Stars lies a man who has endured more than most and survived. After surviving a tragic childhood, Rick Harrison built a successful career, but even that road was paved with struggles, tough choices, and controversies that tested him all over again. Rick Harrison's rocky road to success. Rick began working with his father, Richard "the Old Man" Harrison, long before cameras were rolling. Together, they opened the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop in Las Vegas in 1989. It was a modest operation at first, a family-run business where every dollar counted. Rick had already learned the art of the hustle from a young age, buying and selling everything from fake Gucci bags to car stereo systems. He had a knack for negotiation, a hunger for knowledge, and a passion for history. But growing a small pawn shop into a TV phenomenon wasn't easy. For years, Rick pitched the idea of a reality show based on the daily craziness of the shop. Rejection after rejection followed, until finally, the History Channel took a chance. Pawn Stars premiered in 2009, and it exploded. Audiences were hooked by the quirky family dynamics, rare finds, and Rick's sharp wit. Success brought wealth, fame, and global recognition. The shop became a Las Vegas landmark, flooded with tourists eager for a glimpse of Rick and his team. But with the spotlight came shadows. In 2012, Rick Harrison found himself at the center of a legal firestorm. A Vietnam veteran named Daniel Callahan sued him over an alleged assault inside the pawn shop. According to Callahan, he was trying to sell a rifle when a heated argument broke out. He claimed Rick and his father placed him in a chokehold and physically threw him out. He demanded $20,000 in damages. The lawsuit made headlines, and not the good kind. Rick remained quiet, but his son Corey quickly spoke out. He denied the allegations, saying neither Rick nor his father were even in the room during the incident. According to witnesses, Callahan was absolutely irate while holding a weapon, screaming for the owner, with hundreds of people inside the shop. The staff, Corey said, acted to protect everyone. Whether the case was settled or dismissed remains unclear, but the negative publicity put a dent in the store's friendly image and reminded Rick that fame always comes at a price. As Rick's celebrity status grew, he also stepped into dangerous territory: politics. In 2015, he made headlines again, not for a pawn deal, but for endorsing Republican presidential candidate Marco Rubio. At a time when Hollywood often leaned left, Rick's public support for a conservative figure sparked backlash. He acknowledged that many frowned upon his decision, saying in an interview, "I was the one willing to throw my career away to endorse a Republican." But it didn't stop there. Rick made further controversial comments about transgender bathroom laws, stating, "I guarantee you that will be taken advantage of by some very bad men who want to go into a bathroom where there are young ladies." The backlash was swift. Endorsements were pulled, critics slammed him online, and Rick admitted he feared these statements could even jeopardize his show. He stood by his views, but the backlash showed him how quickly public opinion can turn. In the years that followed, he developed ties with the Trump family, further polarizing his fan base. While dealing with media storms and legal battles, Rick faced a personal tragedy that no amount of success could ease. In 2018, his father, his mentor, business partner, and co-star, passed away from complications related to Parkinson's disease. Fans had noticed his absence from recent seasons, but the news still came as a blow. Rick honored his dad with a heartfelt post on Instagram, calling him his hero. "He will be tremendously missed by our family, the team at Gold and Silver Pawn, and his many fans the world over," he wrote. The old man wasn't just a TV character, he was the soul of the shop and Rick's guiding force. Losing him left a massive hole in Rick's life, both personally and professionally. The dynamic on the show shifted. The shop felt emptier, and Rick had to carry the business forward alone. Despite everything, lawsuits, political heat, personal loss, Rick kept building. He expanded the store, launched spin-off projects, and continued to connect with fans. But it was never as easy as it looked. Each handshake, each TV moment, each autograph had a backstory of hard-earned lessons, risks, and emotional weight. But while Rick battled public controversies and business setbacks, what about the personal relationships behind closed doors? Were they just as troubled as the rest of his journey? Let's find out. Rick Harrison's troubled relationships. Rick Harrison might be the face of Pawn Stars, a sharp negotiator, quick-witted businessman, and savvy historian. But behind the scenes, his personal life has been anything but picture-perfect. Beneath the cameras, spotlights, and countless deals lies a trail of broken marriages, emotional heartbreaks, and a shocking legal battle with someone most fans never expected: his own mother. When it comes to love, Rick has never been shy about chasing it down. In fact, his romantic history reads more like a Hollywood script than a pawn shop ledger. The man often called the Pawn Don Juan has been married 4 times and divorced 3. While he doesn't talk about it much on the show, Rick's love life has never exactly been private either. His first marriage was to Kim Harrison back in the 1980s. They had 2 sons together, including Corey Harrison, who later became a regular on Pawn Stars. But the marriage ended in divorce in 1985. While little is known about the details behind the split, it marked the beginning of Rick's long and complicated relationship history. Some speculate that the pressures of building a business, raising a family, and managing health issues may have taken their toll. Rick didn't give up on love, though. Not long after, he married Tracy Harrison. For a while, it seemed like Rick had finally found stability. The couple stayed married for over 2 decades, raising a family together and riding the roller coaster of building the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop into what it would become. But in 2011, after 25 years, they quietly divorced. There wasn't a media circus, but the breakup sent a message. Behind the pawn shop's success was a man still searching for lasting happiness. His third marriage to Deanna Burdett began in 2013 and seemed like a new chapter for Rick. Deanna, a legal secretary, brought a calmness to Rick's chaotic life, and for a while, things looked hopeful. However, by 2020, that hope had faded. According to court documents obtained by TMZ, Rick filed for divorce, citing that their priorities and views were no longer aligned. Their split, finalized in September 2020, was handled discreetly, almost quietly compared to the high drama that usually surrounds celebrity separations. Still, Rick didn't waste time wallowing. By 2021, he had already found love again, this time with Amanda Palmer, his current wife. While little is known about Amanda, and Rick has kept this relationship out of the public eye, it's clear that he hasn't given up on love, even if the road has been rocky. Tragic death of Rick's son. In January 2024, Rick Harrison, the beloved face of Pawn Stars, was dealt a blow no parent should ever have to endure. His son, Adam Harrison, died from a fentanyl overdose, sending shockwaves through fans of the show and highlighting the grim reality of the ongoing opioid crisis in the United States. Adam, Rick's rarely seen middle son, was just 39 years old. While he never played a role in the Pawn Stars series like his brother Corey, Adam had his own journey, one marked by personal struggles and, in the end, tragedy. On January 19, 2024, Adam was found dead in a guest house where he had been staying. According to a report from the New York Post, he had recently been released from jail just months before his passing. Though Rick didn't publicly share much about the circumstances of Adam's incarceration, he did speak candidly about how fentanyl had changed his son. "Fentanyl turned my son into someone he wasn't," he said, "and that brought with it bad decisions and spending time in jail." His statement painted a picture of a young man who, once full of life and potential, fell into the dangerous grip of addiction. A neighbor who had interacted with Adam in the weeks before his death told law enforcement that he seemed to be mentally struggling. They noted his conversations often lacked clarity and reason, heartbreaking signs of a mind and body overwhelmed by drug use. It's a chilling reminder of how silently and swiftly addiction can erode a person's well-being. In the days following Adam's death, Rick took to Instagram to post a heartbreaking tribute. Sharing a photo of his late son, he wrote, "You will always be in my heart. I love you, Adam." The message, simple yet powerful, echoed the raw grief of a father mourning the loss of his child. Rick also used the opportunity to speak out on a national issue, turning his pain into a message of urgency. "The fentanyl crisis in this country must be taken more seriously," he told the New York Post. "It seems it is just flowing over the borders and nothing is being done about it. We must do better." His words highlighted the devastating reach of fentanyl, a drug responsible for thousands of deaths across the U.S. every year. Adam was laid to rest in a private funeral service in February 2024, surrounded by family and close friends. His death left a void not only in Rick's family but also as a grim reminder of how addiction continues to take lives, even in the most unexpected places. Just as Rick Harrison was grappling with the heartbreaking loss of his son, a shocking legal battle blindsided him, turning his already shattered world completely upside down. Rick Harrison's emotional reaction to life sentence. The most shocking twist in Rick Harrison's personal life exploded in 2022, leaving fans stunned and the Pawn Stars world shaken. In a jaw-dropping turn of events, Rick's own mother, Joanne Harrison, filed a lawsuit against him, accusing her son of betrayal in a bitter family feud that no one saw coming. The drama reportedly began back in the early 2000s when Joanne fell seriously ill. During that vulnerable time, she claims Rick convinced her to sign over her 51% ownership stake in the gold and silver pawn shop. According to the lawsuit, Rick failed to explain the legal consequences, leaving his mother in the dark about what she was giving up. After the death of Richard, the Old Man Harrison, in 2018, the tension escalated further. Joanne inherited Richard's 49% share in the pawn shop, and she soon began questioning the business's finances. She alleged Rick refused to share any financial documents or information about the assets Richard had acquired over the years. Assets Joanne believed included more than $500,000 in cash and silver. The accusations didn't stop there. Joanne's legal team claimed Rick had essentially pushed her out of the business, manipulated her into signing away her control, and shut her out of the very empire she helped build with her husband and son. The legal tension boiled over when Joanne filed a restraining order against Rick, a shocking moment that sent a ripple of disbelief through longtime fans of the show who saw the Harrison family as close-knit and loyal. Rick, however, didn't back down. In an official statement to the Las Vegas Review-Journal, he defended himself, calling the claims both false and heartbreaking. "Now that I've seen what's being said, I can say that the allegations are completely untrue," he said. "I believe my 81-year-old mother is being manipulated by others who are chasing their own agendas. This is not her." But just when it seemed the situation couldn't get any darker, new rumors have begun circulating, suggesting Rick has been sentenced to life in connection with this legal battle. While no official confirmation has been made public, reports claim that Rick broke down emotionally after the alleged court decision. In a deeply personal statement, he reportedly said, "I've survived everything in life, but I never imagined being destroyed by the woman who gave me life. This is something I can never truly understand." If the rumors are true, this tragic family dispute has reached a level no one could have imagined. A tale of success, betrayal, and heartbreak that no reality show could ever script. What are your thoughts on the rumored life sentence of Rick Harrison and his tragic life story? It's hard to fathom the depth of the challenges he's faced. Share your thoughts in the comments below.